So can you just tell us a little bit about what got you interested in brain fog?
So I'm actually a speech pathologist by training. In addition to being trained in speech and language intervention, we're also trained in cognitive intervention. And that'll mean that someone might have had a stroke or a traumatic brain injury, and you are working with them to recover cognitive function. Well, at the same time, I started working here at the Center for Brain Health and was exposed to all different sort of unique populations. They were undergoing maybe an ongoing health condition or managing some other sort of medical condition that they found was resulting in this sort of foggy thinking, right? A lot of times you'll hear it just takes more energy and more effort to do what I was able to do not that long ago.
The first study was centered around bipolar people. Can you talk to us a little bit about that study and tell us kind of what you've learned after your study?
There's very effective management with standard treatment to manage mood symptoms in bipolar disorder. So that's fantastic. But what we also see is as individuals are managing that long-term over their life, they notice some other long-term effects, including cognitive concerns, foggy thinking. We had an earlier study it was a pilot study looking at the benefit of a cognitive intervention with individuals with bipolar disorder. So it was really truly looking at just that added cognitive potential and benefit through cognitive intervention. And the particular Friends grant that I got was to actually invite those participants back later for a longitudinal follow-up from that original study.
Well, the second study is currently ongoing. It centers around breast cancer survivors. So can you just tell us a little bit about your study, and then since it's ongoing, kind of how your study's evolved over time?
With these increased survivorship rates, a lot more focus being looked towards the quality of life and that ongoing survivorship experience. And cognitive concerns or cognitive complaints or brain fog is a common complaint of breast cancer survivors. The initial study that I was awarded for pre-pandemic was looking at, with one group, we were examining one particular cognitive intervention and the impact that could have for breast cancer survivors with complaints of brain fog. Leading up to 2020, that cognitive intervention had to be delivered in person by a trained clinician. But in 2020, we actually translated that into an online format. So that then allowed me to expand not only the reach of the original 40 participants in the DFW area to up to 200 across the nation.
Can you tell us what the intervention is?
It's the SMART training, which is, when you think about cognitive interventions, I think it's helpful to think generally there's sort of two broad approaches. One approach is what we might consider a bottom-up. This is sort of a bucket of approach where you need to sit and you need to train. You need to do exercises versus a whole different approach, which we would think about top-down. And that's really can be agile and unique to person.
Tell us why it's so important for someone who's kind of early in their career to receive a grant like this.
Yeah, I think with many careers, right, there's no experience like being thrown into it and having to write it up, essentially pitch it, think of a budget, and then do it. I had started off here at the Center for Brain Health already, so had been fortunate enough to work in research, but it was the Friends grant that really allowed me to have ownership of a study.